Chapter 71, The Pearl of the Empire. You are listening at novelfull.audio. Qin Xuanhuan was stunning, the Empire's darling. Her smile was like a lily blooming in the darkness, radiant and captivating. Li Mufan was speechless for a moment. He cleared his throat, stepped forward, and offered a respectful greeting. Your Highness. You know me? Qin Shui sized up Li Mufan. He was handsome enough, but something about him felt familiar. She tilted her head, curious. You look familiar. Have we met before? Li Mufan smiled and shook his head, dodging the question. What are you looking for, Your Highness? He asked. I'm trying to find a 7-leaf flower, a flower with 7 petals, each a different color. A 7-leaf flower. Li Mufan was taken aback. It was a rare medicinal ingredient, used in making pills. Why would the princess be looking for one? And in an inn's garden, of all places. He figured, what the heck, he couldn't sleep anyway. He might as well play along and see what he could find out. Of course, Your Highness. I'll help you look. As soon as the words left his mouth, he knew he'd screwed up. He'd almost called himself minister, the way he used to address royalty. For a moment, he'd forgotten he was supposed to be dead. Sure enough, the princess's beautiful eyes narrowed, a flicker of suspicion in her gaze. She sensed something was off, but couldn't quite place it. Li Mufan breathed a sigh of relief. Maybe Her Highness wasn't the sharpest tool in the shed. Under the moonlight, they searched the flower garden together. Li Mufan kept the conversation light, casually chatting with her. He learned that despite attacks from the north and south, the Empire had stabilized its position by deploying over 2 million troops to the battlefields. In the north, they'd adopted a defensive strategy, joining forces with vassal states to hold the line against the grassland invaders. It was a stalemate. To the south, they'd invaded the Blood Wolf clan's territory with overwhelming force, leaving a trail of blood and claiming vast swathes of land. But the Blood Wolf clan and other alien forces like the Behemoth clan were putting up a fierce fight. The Empire needed time to absorb and consolidate its gains, leading to another stalemate. Qin Shui's words carried a note of confidence. The Empire had been reforming for a century, its power far exceeding that of other races. He suspected the war would reignite soon. Meanwhile, other races were also warring among themselves. The chaotic era had truly arrived. This year's City of Chaos auction was hosted by the Sky Fox clan, making it grander than ever, with numerous rare treasures up for grabs. Besides Princess Qin Shui, the second prince, Qin Ji, had also come to the Yunqin Empire, along with several prominent figures from vassal states. After a while, Qin Shui suddenly asked, Hey, I've told you so much, but you still haven't told me your name. Li Mufan touched his nose, about to answer, when Qin Shui suddenly gasped. It's you. I remember now. You're Li Mufan from the Sun and Moon Kingdom. Li Mufan froze. He hadn't expected her to recognize him, but he wasn't afraid. His identity would be revealed sooner or later. Qin Shui suddenly yelled, Traitor! Surrender! And then she kicked him. Chapter 72, Beating the Princess to Cry. You are listening at novelfull.audio. Seems like this princess has a temper on her. She looks delicate, but the force behind that attack. Definitely at least a body refining realm level 1, too bad for her. Li Mufan's not who he used to be. He easily sidestepped her kick and snagged her in a hold under his arm. You creep. Let me go. Qin Shui thrashed, trying to break free. Li Mufan's jaw tightened as he popped her playfully on the backside. Not even old enough to fill out a chest yet, and you're trying to play hero? I'm gonna straighten you out right now. Li Mufan was still simmering from her sneak attack. If she weren't a princess, he might have just knifed her. Being held like that was mortifying enough. But the playful spank? It sent the blood rushing to her face as she fought even harder, against Li Mufan. Not a chance. Still not gonna behave, huh? Whack. Whack. Whack, star. He kept tapping her rear, not hard, more like a dad correcting his kid. Let me go, you jerk. Li Mufan was set on teaching her a lesson. Better to scare her now, before she gets him killed with her recklessness later. Qin Shui. You attacked me out of nowhere and you're mouthy about it. You beg for mercy, or I'll tan your hide. The princess felt weak, and where he had hit her stung, but she was too stubborn to give in. Tears streaming down her face, she spat, "You're a traitor, kidnapping innocent women and bullying Mingyu. You're a scumbag and a pervert. I'll make you pay." That set Li Mufan off. He gave her another playful swat. "When did I kidnap anyone? And don't even mention that witch to me. You want to end up sold to a brothel?" That one stung. Qin Shui yelped, her whole body jolting. Her strength gave out, and she finally burst into tears. Li Mufan froze. He hadn't meant to make her cry. He was terrible with crying girls. He was about to drop her and run when a shout echoed from ahead. "Traitor! Let my sister go." It was the second prince, Qin Ji, leading a small army of people, charging toward them. Li Haotian and Wang Mingyu were right behind him. Qin Ji roared, "Li Mufan! Release the princess, and maybe, you'll live to see another day." Li Mufan took a breath, sizing up the situation. He said calmly, "Well, if it isn't His Highness. Haven't seen you in ages. You're looking princely." Li Haotian scoffed, "Li Mufan, I didn't think you had the guts to show your face. Cut the crap and release the princess." "Hey, Wang, I'm talking to royalty here. Since when do you get a say?" Li Haotian sputtered, then just glared. Qin Ji said anxiously, "What do you want?" Li Mufan paused, then grinned. "Simple. It's not impossible to let the princess go, but you gotta promise me something, Your Highness." "Name it." "I heard the Empire's auctioning off some stuff, including a certain yuan fruit. Just 3 of them. That's all I want," and she walks. The Earth origin fruit. A few glances were exchanged. "It was valuable, sure, but not exactly useful." Wang Mingyu spoke smoothly. "The Earth origin fruit isn't for eating raw. What exactly do you want it for?" Chapter 73, Winning Over. You are listening at NovelFull.audio. It had been a few months, and Li Mufan's ex-wife looked like she'd lost some weight. Maybe a little something still lingered, a spark of what used to be. He almost snapped at her, but the words just died in his throat. He looked at Wang Mingyu coolly, didn't answer, and turned to Qin Ji. "Your Highness, how about it?" A couple of Earth Yuan fruits were nothing compared to Qin Shui. Qin Ji pulled the Earth Yuan fruit from his storage ring and tossed it to Li Mufan. "Now, cough up what you got." Catching it, Li Mufan grinned, practically threw the princess into Qin Ji's arms, and said with a smile, "Second prince, you're a real sport. If you don't need me for anything else, I'm out of here." Happy with his easy score, he was ready to take off. "Little sis, you okay?" Qin Shui's face was a mess. She rubbed her butt, bit her lip, and shook her head, glaring at Li Mufan like she wanted to eat him alive. "Li Mufan, you think you can just walk away?" Li Haotian's voice was like ice, and the guards behind him looked ready to pounce. They looked like they'd take this rebel down with a single order. Li Mufan smirked. "Trying to pick a fight, Brother Wang, right here." He saw the hunter troops suddenly pop up behind him. They'd been hiding in the area all along. "Mingzi armor. It's you." Qin Ji and the others were floored. Just earlier, a squad of human warriors in black armor with those distinctive markings had taken down hundreds of behemoths and robbed tons of people. How could they not know who they were? Qin Ji frowned, Li Haotian looked stunned, and even Wang Mingyu's pretty face showed surprise. So, that small, legendary human army was Li Mufan's? Seeing the gloom on their faces, Li Mufan said calmly, "What? Changed your mind, Brother Wang? Wanna try and stop me? Be my guest." The hunter troops' repeating crossbows gleamed ominously. Thanks to some hidden rewards Li Mufan had snagged, they were even more lethal than before. Li Haotian and the others knew damn well that if they tried anything now, they probably couldn't even touch Li Mufan. Qin Shui gritted her teeth, glaring at the jerk who'd smacked her. Her big, misty eyes were filled with rage. This guy is the worst, she thought. He's a home invader, a womanizer, bullies Mengyu, and robs caravans. And, to top it all off, he grabbed my butt. He's pure evil. In her mind, Li Mufan was now the biggest villain ever. Qin Ji frowned and, after a beat, said, Li Mufan, I've heard things. Now that things have gone this far, it's tough to undo, but you're still one of us, part of the Yunqin clan. And right now, the Empire's looking for good people. Why not throw your lot in with the court? Your Highness. Li Haotian started to say something, but the second prince cut him off. Right now, the Empire's holding a big chunk of Blood Wolf clan territory and we need people to run it. If you surrender now, I'll put in a word with my father. How about a hereditary fiefdom? A straight-up offer he couldn't refuse. 1 second it was tense, the next, after Li Mufan showed his muscle, the Empire was practically begging him to join them. When money talks, principles walk. Qin Ji's offer was pretty damn sweet. Seeing Li Mufan looking thoughtful, Wang Mingyu watched him quietly, a flicker of something in her eyes. Chapter 74, Martial Arts Competition to Win a Bride. You are listening at novelfull.audio. Li Mufan burst out laughing, like he'd heard the world's best joke. Your Highness, you think I'm a fool? You robbed me, now you're giving it back. What kind of game is that? His smile vanished. You're mistaken about the sword. Li Mufan is dead. I'm not part of your Yunqin family. You. Qin Ji scoffed, some people just can't be helped. Li Haotian, relieved, sneered, Li Mufan, you're just showing off with fancy weapons. You wouldn't last a round in the martial arts competition tomorrow. Step into the ring, one-on-one, and let's see who's really worthy of that seat. Li Mufan was caught off guard, he didn't know anything about a competition. Wang Mengyu, seeing this, chuckled. Your Majesty, capitalizing on the auction's success, City Lord Li Feiyun is hosting a competition to find a husband for his daughter. The winner gets to marry the beautiful Luoshui, plus the Greenwood Spring and other treasures as prizes. Luoshui. Li Mufan recognized the name. Besides her stunning looks, the city lord's daughter was a cultivation prodigy, already at the 4th level of body refining at only 16 or 17. She was considered one of Yunzhou's most promising talents, but that wasn't the important part. What mattered was the Aoki spring. This spring water accelerated plant growth and was extremely rare. Others might value Luoshui more, but Li Mufan saw its true potential. With hydroponics, cultivated soil, and the Aoki spring, his growth rate would skyrocket. I'm in. I have to participate. He made up his mind, laughing. I've heard Miss Luo is a genius of Yunzhou, with both beauty and brains. I wouldn't miss seeing her for the world. What a creep. Qin Shui rolled her eyes. Wang Mengyu frowned slightly. Your Highness, Brother Wang, save the talk. We'll settle this in the ring tomorrow. I'll take my leave now. He waved and left with his troops. Several watched him go, their eyes narrowed, thoughts hidden. After a moment, Qin Ji asked, Haotian, how strong is this Li Mufan, really? Li Haotian smirked. He didn't even have a body refining realm before. This is just big talk. Qin Ji nodded. Good. He's dangerous and could cause trouble for the Empire. In the arena, have our people injure him, but take him alive. I need to question him. Yes, Your Highness. A fierce glint appeared in Li Haotian's eyes. Back in his room, Li Mufan took out the Diyuan fruit, turning it over in his hands. Considering tomorrow, his main goal was to get elixir seeds. He had an alchemy furnace and scripture, and after asking the system, learned that colonists could make elixirs if they met certain conditions. His foundation was weak, so pills were critical for Mingqing's rapid development. After a moment, he relaxed, a smile playing on his lips as he looked at the storage bag at his waist. Chapter 75 Nickname, Outlaw. You are listening at novelfull.audio. The next day, Chaos City's central arena was buzzing with anticipation. Here on Tianhan continent, strength is everything, and every town worth its salt has an arena. But this one was special. It had been getting a makeover for the past 2 months because the mayor's daughter was throwing a massive martial arts tournament to find a husband. From afar, you could see this huge, circular arena smack dab in the middle of the city, big enough to hold over 100,000 people. Inside, it was laid out like a football field, with 5 separate rings. The competitors would be split into groups to duke it out. The whole Find a Husband tournament was scheduled to run for 3 days straight, with only one winner walking away with the bride and a pile of rewards. Of course, there were rules. First off, you had to pony up 500 gold coins just to enter. That alone weeded out a lot of guys. Not just anyone could stroll in and try their luck, plus, the mayor wasn't looking for a grandpa. They checked everyone's bone age at registration. If you were over 20, you were out. Otherwise, every old monster from every race would be trying to crash the party. The arena was packed by sunup. Mufon showed up in head-to-toe black armor, leaving only his eyes visible. He had a massive sword strapped to his waist. His getup looked seriously old school, especially compared to the other young hopefuls. He led his hunter crew toward a registration point, ignoring the smirks and stares. The line was already long, with spectators gawking and whispering about the contestants. Suddenly, someone yelled, "Mingzi armor." "It's those outlaws," that the crowd instantly backed away from the hunter team. Their rep was no joke, and nobody wanted to mess with them. Yeah, outlaws fit them. Most races around Yunzhou saw humans as weaklings who played by the rules, but these guys were known to kill you over a disagreement. It didn't fit the human stereotype. Some folks even gave them that nickname, the Outlaws. It was enough to scare the crowd, but the young hotshots competing weren't fazed, still had to wait in line. Outlaws, huh? Li Mufon was amused by the name. They pulled off a few heists, and now they were outlaws. He tuned out the chatter and scanned the competition. All the big names were here. With Yunzhou in chaos, everyone was itching for a fight. This tournament, while supposedly about marriage, had turned into a showdown for Yunzhou's next generation. Just as he was checking things out, someone shouted, "Niu Wulyo's here." Niu Wulyo. The crowd went wild. Niu Wulyo, ranked 7th among Yunzhou's top 10 young masters. The Yunzhou temple kept all sorts of lists. They updated the young masters list every year, and Niu Wulyo had been on it for 3 years running. He was the star of the barbarian bull clan, the pride of the Minotaurs. Li Mufon frowned. He definitely knew about the top 10 young masters thing. Back when he was a king, Murong, one of his officers, was on that list. At 17, he had reached the 4th level of body refinement, a force to be reckoned with back in the kingdom. Chapter 76, 10 Young Masters. You are listening at novelfull.audio. These 10 contenders are seriously talented with crazy skills, and none of them are pushovers. Looks like snagging the greenwood spring won't be a walk in the park for him. It's Mou, one of the top 10 young masters. Someone yelled from a distance, and the crowd went wild. Niu Wulyo might be strong, but the bullman thing isn't exactly a panty dropper. Mou was different. Being a dark elf with handsome looks, tan skin, and a perpetually cool expression, he drove the ladies nuts. Mou. Ah. Mou. Marry me. Mou. I'll be your slave, the girls were screaming. Listening to the over-the-top declarations, Li Mufon could only think, lucky bastard, the girls were still losing it over Mou when another VIP arrived. Yang Tai is here. This was Yang Tai, a light elf and one of the famous elf twins, right up there with Mou. This guy was even more popular than Mou. The crowd surged like a tidal wave, all to get a peek at the hot light elf. Even some of the people waiting in line for the marriage recruitment were ditching their spots to get a look. The line in front of Li Mufon practically vanished. Damn, that's popular, but hey, it saved him some time. A minute later, standing at the registration point, a grumpy old Tiger Clan dude eyed his getup and grumbled, "Pay up and put your hand on the stone." Li Mufon dutifully handed over a bag of gold coins and pressed his hand onto the stone. The once dark stone turned light green, radiating rings of light. He was intrigued. 16 growth rings, meets the requirements. Write your name down. The old man pointed to a wooden barrel. Draw a number. Each contestant drew a number to determine their group. Mufan pulled number 81, with the number 3 on the back, which meant the third group. Leaving the registration area and seeing the still starstruck crowd, Mufan headed for the arena. Inside this building, built like the Roman Colosseum, were 5 arenas. His third group was scheduled to compete in the central one. The first day of competition didn't officially kick off until the afternoon, but the arena was already packed. Mufan and his hunter team were looking for seats when they ran into some familiar faces. Mufan. You actually came. Qin Ji and company were headed their way. Even though Mufan was dressed like a walking tank, the character on his armor was a dead giveaway. Li Haotian saw the number plate in his hand and smirked. The third group. Looks like you'll be getting your butt kicked pretty soon. Mufan ignored him and grinned at Qin Shui. Your Highness, still sore. You. Qin Shui's face flushed at the reminder of yesterday. She stamped her foot and snapped, you just wait. We'll show you what's what. Mufan burst out laughing. His armor hid everything but his eyes. When he laughed, his eyes practically disappeared, and the armor jiggled. He looked ridiculous. Wang Mengyu couldn't help but giggle into her hand. Chapter 77 Master, your grenade. You are listening at novelfull.audio. She gave a small smile. Hey, no killing. Okay. There are rules. Mufan's face flushed. He was terrified of dying, hence the get-up. His feelings about his ex-wife were complicated. He shot her a glare. I ain't dying till I'm done with you. Then, he turned on his heel and waddled off with the hunters. Qin Ji and the others just stared at his bulky retreating figure, speechless. This asterisk was supposed to be a big deal, a martial arts competition to find a bride. He was just embarrassing the human race. They found some seats near the ring. Normally, prime spots like these would be packed, but their reputation cleared a space pretty fast. Here's your stuff, boss. Heiyue handed him a bunch of blue EMP grenades, and Mufan clipped them to his belt. He couldn't use his storage bag yet, so he was stuck with this for now. Half a day flew by. From eavesdropping on the crowd, Mufan learned that all of Yunzhou's top 10 fighters were here for the tournament, except for Su Xiaomei, the Sky Fox clan's number 1, and Luoshui, who was supposed to be a big deal. Yu Xiaotian, the Tiger clan's second-ranked powerhouse, was watching, but not competing. Word was if he fought, nobody else would stand a chance. The city lords here. With a shout, Li Feiyun, the Tiger clan's leader and Chaos City's big boss, stepped onto the center stage. After a quick speech, the competition kicked off to roaring cheers. Fights were going down in 5 different rings at the same time. The rules were simple, get knocked out or tap out. Weapons were okay, but killing got you DQ'd. Each ring had a referee, usually some old-timer from the different clans that Li Feiyun had invited. They were tough. The refs often had to step in when the youngsters lost control, and just like that, the first round was underway. In Mufan's ring, the first face-off was between a human kid and a minotaur. Human versus minotaur, a classic. They skipped the small talk and went straight to it. Mufan recognized the human. He worked for Qin Ji. Big guy, swinging a massive sword, definitely a power build. The minotaur had a huge axe. Brute strength was pretty much their whole thing. They started hacking away at each other, metal clanging on metal. Great way to start things off, and the crowd went wild. Minotaurs were famous for their power, but the human kid started getting the upper hand. The average Joe just saw a fight, but Mufan knew the deal. They were both low level, but the human kid was maxed out and way stronger. The Minotaur's race gave him a natural edge, but he was in real trouble. Suddenly, the human kid roared, knocked the Minotaur's axe flying, and chopped his arm off before he could tap out. Blood everywhere. The Minotaur screamed. The ref frowned and stood up. After a beat, he announced, "Human wins." The crowd lost it. Chapter 78 Luoshui Letter. You are listening at novelfull.audio. After that penalty, the martial arts competition for marriage took a different turn. Killing was strictly off limits, but crippling someone, if you were quick enough, was apparently fine. The tribal wars of Yunzhou were brutal. Revenge was the name of the game. The human audience roared its approval, while the barbarian bull tribe seated back on the ring. The injured minotaur was carried off, bleeding badly. Li Mufan just shook his head. Tough break. Lost the girl and lost an arm. Not worth it at all. Then, something caught his eye, and he stared intently at the ground. That's weird. How's that blood disappearing so fast, like it's being absorbed? Just then, he felt a faint tremor against his chest. What the? He touched his chest, glanced at the noisy arena, his eyes narrowed thoughtfully. In a VIP box high above, Li Feiyan watched the scene with a smile. Though a Tiger Clan member, save for the tiger stripe on his forehead, he looked every bit the majestic, middle-aged man. Beside him sat the celebrated beauty, Luoshui. To earn the title Daughter of Heaven, she had to be stunning. This whole competition was for her. With so many promising young men vying for her attention, she should have been happy, but a frown creased her brow. Are you really going through with this? Li Feiyan paused, then said, even they're here. What choice do we have? Luoshui managed a bitter smile and sighed softly. The day has finally come. Seeing her expression, he sighed. What are you going to do as the tribe's sacred daughter? Are you really going to marry one of these low-rent races? Luoshui was quiet for a long moment. Then, she said softly, maybe it wouldn't be so bad. Down below, Qin Ji gave a satisfied nod to a young man, while Li Haotian shot a taunting look at Li Mufan, who, of course, completely ignored him. The competition continued, matches playing out on other stages. Li Mufan still hadn't been called up. His number was later. On another platform, a young Blood Wolf clan fighter sliced off a thigh of his elephantine opponent. The tension in the air thickened. Suddenly, the crowd erupted. Niu Wulyo was up next. Niu Wulyo was different from your average minotaur. He was a barbarian bull, but he looked more human-like. If not for the sharp horns on his head, he could have passed for a giant human. Interbreeding was common among the races, leading to noticeable differences. Generally, the closer to human-like in appearance, the greater the intelligence and talent. Of course, they never said they looked like humans. They preferred to claim their appearance resembled the gods. Niu Wulyo's opponent was a demon from the Earth tribe, ugly, wielding a machete, and clearly intimidated by the towering barbarian bull. Begin. As soon as the referee announced it, the demon roared, I forfeit. He knew he was outmatched and threw in the towel. The audience was stunned, then booed. The Tianhan continent prized warriors, admitting defeat before even trying was considered the lowest of the low. Amid the jeers, Niu Wulyo shot a cold glance in Qin Ji's direction and walked off the stage. The games rolled on, and the betting parlors finally opened for business. These competitions always attracted gambling of all sizes, but this time, the Yunlu Chamber of Commerce had a complete monopoly. Chapter 79, Bringing Shame to the Human Race. You are listening at novelfull.audio. Someone yelled, all right, place your bets. The matchups are up. The Yunlu Chamber of Commerce had already cleared a space on the stand, removing chairs to make a makeshift betting area. A white cloth displayed the first round's pairings and odds. They were quick, getting things rolling even before the competition really kicked off. Li Mufan perked up at the sight. His Taoist training had sharpened his eyesight, letting him see his odds from a distance. Li Mufan, human, vs Lang Dare, Iron Wolf, 3:1. Seriously? They're really lowballing me, he muttered. Li Mufan pulled out a gold card and told Heiyue, standing nearby, go bet 10,000 gold coins on me. Yes, master. Heiyue plowed through the crowd at the betting table, slammed the gold card down, and shouted, 10,000 on Li Mufan. The crowd gasped. Usually, a few hundred gold coins was considered a big bet. This guy was throwing around 10,000 like it was nothing. The Yunlu Chamber of Commerce wasn't afraid of big money, they were afraid of no money. Immediately, someone announced, 10,000 on Li Mufan, the human. The human? The crowd chuckled. These gamblers knew the score. Betting on humans was usually a losing proposition. Plus, Lang Dare was a renowned young warrior of the Iron Wolf clan. Betting 10,000. This guy was throwing money away. I'll put 100 on Lang Dare. 200 for me. Make it 200 for me too. I'm in for 500. A bunch of people jumped in, eyeing Heiyue like a lamb ready for slaughter. Of course, knowing Heiyue was a bruiser, no one dared to make any snide comments. The Yunlu Chamber of Commerce had a solid reputation. Win or lose, they paid out immediately, no delays. Soon, it was Li Mufan's turn. The audience burst out laughing as soon as he appeared. Is this guy for real? What a joke. Huh, look at that tin can. Is he gonna be a punching bag? Hey, what's hanging from his waist? Is that a lunchbox full of dumplings? Ha ha ha. Compared to Lang Dare, decked out in warrior gear, Li Mufan looked completely out of place. The human spectators facepalmed, wondering who let their kid wander out to embarrass them all. Qin Shui was practically doubled over with laughter. That weirdo actually wore that on stage. Oh man, I can't stop laughing. On the stage, the referee's mouth twitched. He couldn't help but glance at Li Mufan before announcing, begin. But surprisingly, neither of them moved. Lang Dare, spear in hand, let out a booming laugh. Human. Kneel down and beg for forgiveness right now, then pay me 1,000 gold coins, and I'll let you off easy. Otherwise, I'll strip you of your rusty armor and send you running off this stage buck naked. The crowd roared with laughter. Naked butt. Naked butt. Someone actually yelled. The humans in the audience hung their heads, unable to watch anymore. This was beyond embarrassing. On the stage, Lang Dare saw that Li Mufan still hadn't moved, and his smile turned cruel. He lunged forward like a hungry wolf, thrusting his spear directly at Li Mufan, and just as he attacked, the corner of Li Mufan's mouth twitched upward. Chapter 80. In the second round, this kid will be used as a punching bag. You are listening at NovelFull.audio. He sidestepped, narrowly avoiding the blow, and swung his long sword, aiming for Lang Dare's forehead. Lang Dare, a true prodigy of the Iron Wolf clan, reacted instantly. With a sharp clang, he blocked the sword with his spear. Li Mufan, seeing this, switched his attack, bringing the sword back in another arc. Though the spear still partially blocked him, he'd created an opening. Purple lightning thunder blade. In the stands, Li Haotian stared at Li Mufan, surprised. He knew that swordsmanship, the signature technique of the former king, used to cut down countless enemies. He thought the secret had died with the king, that no one in the Sun and Moon Kingdom still knew it. Yet, here was Li Mufan, using it now. Wang Mingyu watched the intense fight, a flicker of surprise in her eyes. Since seizing power, her ex-husband had been full of surprises. An odd feeling stirred within her. If he weren't his son, maybe. She sighed, a hint of confusion clouding her gaze. Down below, the crowd was stunned. Who knew this seemingly goofy human could hold his own against Lang Dare, a master of the body refining realm? They'd traded blows for dozens of rounds. Lang Dare was giving it his all, but the longer it went on, the more bewildered he became. The human swordsmanship was relentless, and he couldn't seem to gain any advantage, and the eyes behind that helmet were calm, like he wasn't even trying that hard. Don't you dare underestimate me. Enraged, Lang Dare unleashed all his power, sweeping his spear in a desperate, head-on attack. Li Mufan roared, meeting the attack head-on, sword flashing. This was it, one move to decide the match. With a crack, Lang Dare's spear shattered, and the sword glanced off, leaving a bloody gash on his chest. Both fighters stumbled back. Li Mufan retreated 7 or 8 steps before regaining his balance, while Lang Dare only took 3 steps back. But with the cut on his chest, his eyes rolled back, and he collapsed. The referee examined the unconscious Lang Dare, then looked at the panting Li Mufan, and yelled, "Li Mufan of the human race wins." The arena erupted. Damn it! The human won. There goes my 500 gold. He only won because of his weapon. That's cheating. Seriously? I'd be unstoppable with a magic sword, that the other races cursed, and the Iron Wolf clan members turned purple with rage. Anyone could see that Lang Dare would have won, but Li Mufan's superior weapon had broken his spear, they weren't going to let it slide. Hey bookie, who's fighting this punk next? I'm betting he loses, 1,000 gold. Make that 2,000, the Iron Wolf clan and the gamblers were shouting, desperate to recoup their losses. The gamblers were playing it smart. Li Mufan had barely won after a grueling fight and could hardly stand. How could he possibly win again? Plus, the next round was full of top-tier fighters. This kid was about to get creamed. On the human side, a few cheers broke out.